Hey friends, good afternoon. Thursday, May 4 here in New York City, 2:30 p.m. Kind of mid-50s. It's kind of cool for a spring day. Doesn't feel so spring. Getting our start here on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. This is 5th Avenue. Oh, where are we? Somewhere between 90th and 91st Streets. That is the Cooper Hewitt Smithsonian Design Museum, former Carnegie mansion, looking really beautiful. And at the moment, you can probably tell I'm walking north. So I think we're going to walk up a little bit of 5th Avenue and go check out the Conservatory Garden, one of my favorite sites in Central Park, and then we'll figure out what we want to do after that. John Burke, Argent, S. Fields, Mr. Ralph, Dave and Bangor, Maine, ABX, Diana Lee. It's good to see everybody. Happy May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, as they say. So this is part of the stretch of 5th Avenue known as Museum Mile. Started at Cooper Hewitt, coming up to the Jewish Museum. Also, a lot of these museums are in these former incredible mansions. Kind of ridiculous. Hey Ian, welcome. Afternoon, everybody. I'm really eager to see Conservatory Garden, to see some color. So I posted a little video earlier today from Central Park. Not our typical format, little short one. And it's funny because right now in Central Park, it's all green. It's been raining and raining and raining in New York City, which unfortunately, and the low temperatures meant no more cherry blossoms. Those are all gone. The season has come and gone, but the park is like super green, mega green. It's pure green. So anyways, I'm hoping to go to Conservatory Garden, see if see something other than green. Let's go find out. Hope everybody's doing well. This beautiful Thursday here in New York. It's sweater weather. Much colder. It's so funny. We a couple weeks ago had felt like it was summer. Now it feels like a different season altogether. It has that just super ornate detailing, you know? But there's all sorts of different styles. Here's a different one. Red brick. I really like this one. I like the circular windows at the top. Part of what makes New York interesting, all the different architectural styles. Everything built at different times, renovated at different times. I'm excited to see what's going on at the garden. So, some of you, I think if we were hanging out during Dutch Maz's live stream, you might have seen. So yesterday at Central Park, I did get to see a site I was super excited about. In the reservoir is a pair of swans. And now they were a little too far to take really good pictures, but I posted the best picture I got on Instagram. And the video I posted today from Central Park, I did post the video I got of the swans. I was so excited to see that. That was really cool. They may still be there. Who knows? Maybe we'll see them later. They're really lucking out with the birds in the park this year. We've seen Flacco. We've seen the red-headed duck, and now we've seen the swans. We're lucking out, folks. We are lucking out. Making our way north still on our right. Going to see the Mount Sinai Medical System. They own a ton of buildings up here. And then eventually on our left, we will arrive at Conservatory Garden. You can enter, there's a little park right there, but you can't actually get inside Central Park there. They have little signs posted. It just kind of dead ends into this little quiet park area. And if you walk in there, almost without it fail, somebody will say, "This doesn't go into the park." British Gray, we're on TV. Good to see everybody. Yeah, Diana Lee, lots of puddles. It's been raining and raining and raining and raining. It's been raining, it's been windy. But as you can see, there's blue sky up there somewhere. It really wants to come out. That blue sky really wants to come out. Central Park. Some of the beautiful fields up in the northern section of the park. Lots of baseball fields, lots of places to do picnics and stuff. And we've said many times before, the northern end of the park never as busy as the southern end. So it's much quieter. It feels like you have it largely to yourself. But the northern end is really, really pretty. You have the North Woods, fun to get lost in, as our friend Nabul found out. You have Conservatory Garden, where we're headed, and you have Harlem Meer, among other sites. Lots to see. Lots to see and do. Like I said, Mount Sinai up here. So lots of medical offices and buildings. So this is the perimeter of Central Park, runs from 59th Street on the southern end to 110th on the north, and from 5th Avenue to 8th Avenue. About 6 miles. And we've done it before. I think the last time we did the full stretch your legs. Hey, Justin Norell's here. Welcome. What time is it where you are? Oh. And Justin Norell not only here, but waking up with a 20 Australian dollar super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. 20 times over. 4:30 a.m. and you're awake. Why are you awake at 4:30 in the morning? I wonder. But what an honor to have you join us. Appreciate it. Sal's here. Tom in Vermont. Ambrose and Nabul. Nabul's ears must have been burning. I was just talking about you. So Nabul was in New York. And feel free to tell the chat about your trip and what were some of the highlights, what were some of the lowlights. But Nabul is just in New York City, and one of his One of his adventures was literally getting lost in Central Park. But thankfully the community got together, helped Nabul make his way south. Oh, that was hysterical though. I'm still laughing thinking about it. And if you haven't seen that yet, definitely go check out Nabul wandering, exploring Central Park. But he has a few walks around New York City. That was really fun. Always fun to see some of the places that we like to visit or stream or whatever through somebody else's eyes. Just passing 102nd Street. Coming up on our right, again, part of Museum Mile, the Museum of the City of New York. Really fun museum, recommended if you've never been. And there's a few more museums farther north. So you have Museo del Barrio, the Africa Center. There's a lot to do along Fifth Avenue. That is not just the Met. And we're going to pass the controversial covered up statue. Not going to get, we've talked about it before, so I'm not going to get into it, but let's just say somebody who history is not remembering fondly. Mika, good to see you. Narelle, well, we lucked out. Thanks for being with us. And Mika was checking out our little Central Park video earlier. Very kind. So that one, very different than what we normally do. I just took a bunch of short clips as I was doing a little wander across the park. We may do more of it, so let me know what you guys think. It's going to do terribly on YouTube. Anytime we do something that's like a little bit different, and it's short, it's like 3 minutes long, and so the YouTube's like, people are not watching as long as your other videos. It's like, yeah, no, it's 3 minutes. Like, they're not going to watch as long. So anyways, if you enjoy that video, leave a like, share, introduce it to other people, because it's going to have trouble on YouTube. But we enjoy trying different things. All right, coming up. Oh, they have, I noticed this the other day. Is this closed? I bet it's closed. Dang. I noticed this tent the other day, so I guess it's probably closed. I wasn't thinking. I was not thinking. Okay, well, we'll go a little farther. We'll go to Harlem Meer and see if there's an entrance over there for any part of the, they must be doing a fundraiser. I'm sorry, folks. I totally forgot. Totally forgot about that. Let's go see if like the northern end or any of it is open. But otherwise, on to Plan B. Hey, Ron TV, thank you for that. Appreciate the thumbs up. That's so funny. They close the garden like one day out of the year. You know, they raise money and stuff. And the one day I'm out. Oh, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Nope. Nothing's open. That's unfortunate. Oh well. Well, let's head into Central Park itself. Let me show you guys Harlem Meer. We were talking about a little bit ago. It's It's a little lake up here at the northeast corner of Central Park. Really beautiful, and if you're into the whole bird thing, great place to visit. That is a beautiful little building. It's the Discovery Center, so they have all sorts of activities for kids and stuff, and families. That's where we saw Central Park did a little Christmas tree lighting last year. The funny thing is, it was a Christmas tree flotilla. It was floating in the Meer. And you can see we have a little Canadian goose friend hanging out. Ian says his mom used to have a view of Central Park when she grew up. East 102nd Street. Can you imagine? I can hardly imagine looking out of my window and having Central Park. That is incredible. All right, friends, let's head across now. Look at all this. They have all sorts of stuff going on. So here's the temporary closure. Conservatory Garden will be closed to the public May 2nd through the 4th for a benefit event supporting Central Park. And that'll reopen May 5 after 12 p.m. So if we had just come back tomorrow, whoops. But this is what they do to keep, they gotta raise those bucks. They gotta raise those bucks. All right. Funny times. All right, so we're gonna head up into the park. I think we may just cross the park and go to the west side. I think that's what we're gonna do today. And S Fields, yes. I point out that tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. How's everybody celebrating May the 4th? Is everybody watching Star Wars? And then more importantly, how's everybody celebrating Cinco de Mayo? I think Lisa and I are going to flip the dates because she's got some stuff to do tomorrow. So maybe we'll celebrate Cinco de Mayo tonight. Should I go over here? We never go over here. Let me show you this. Sorry. Walk up a small hill and I'm out of breath. Not good. Not a good sign. Ambrose is going to celebrate with Cinco beers. Give that liver a workout. Hey, Dorgrok, good to see you. Yeah, that's the way to do it. A little food, a little beverage, and a little history. So we've mentioned this before. This is Fort Clinton. Hey, John Cipolla, good to see you. JC, welcome. So this is Fort Clinton. Some incredible views here. But I've mentioned before that there's cannons in Central Park. This is one of them. So that's where we tried to go, Conservatory Garden. But this is a cool spot. You can come up here, you can read, and then as you can see, there's just some really cool panoramic views from up here. All right, let's head over to the west side. Dorgrak celebrating a birthday with us. Happy birthday. Many happy returns. If it is your birthday, or if you have a birthday coming up, we send you our very best birthday wishes. Really incredible bird sounds up here. So this is kind of the neck of the woods where Nabul was and got lost. Right at the tip top of the park. In an area known as the North Woods. Very easy to get lost in them, even if you're familiar with the area, because from time to time you lose track of the tall buildings, which is usually the giveaway as to where you are. But it's kind of fun to get lost in Central Park. You'll make your way out eventually. Hey Cynthia, good to see you. Welcome. If you joined, if I missed you, welcome. Happy afternoon. Happy May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. So if you take this path that we're on right now, it gets us to an area called the Lock, which is these days where Flacco hangs out. So if we see a bunch of nature photographers, we'll go see if we can find him. I think he's been closer to an area that's called the Pool. And if anybody follows us on Instagram, sometimes I post other people's pictures to my stories. And so they're doing construction over here. And when he flies out at night, if you see the yellow construction equipment, sometimes Flacco flies out and hangs out on those big pieces of machinery. And they're very funny pictures. You have this incredible natural, beautiful owl on top of, a 10-ton caterpillar. Just a funny contrast. And Nabul knows the lake and the pool. See, you go, you explore, you get lost, and then you go, oh, now I... But the other thing is, if you do get lost in Central Park, first of all, there's these signs every now and then. So I'll show you guys what we've done so far. So we walked up 5th Avenue. We tried to go to Conservatory Garden, it was closed. We went in here to Harlem Meer. We walked up. We went actually to this area for Castle Clinton. We went around, and then we've been taking kind of this trail. This is where the construction equipment was. And now we're kind of in here. We're going to take this trail. I was out. Sorry about that, friends. We should be coming back now. Yeah, I don't know how much of that came through. It's really pretty over there, but totally dead zone. Yeah, Ambrose, the blockhouse. Hey, Pistachio, welcome. Good to see everybody. We made our way out of the woods. Blockhouse, Ambrose, similar to the Arsenal. I believe those are the two buildings still in existence that predate Central Park, which is kind of a crazy thing to imagine. But we're going to head out of the park, get a better signal, and explore a little bit of New York on this beautiful Thursday. Diana Lee says so many stunning shades of green. Yeah, I mean, it's super pretty right now after all the rain, but it's like green on green on green. If green is your favorite color, if you're celebrating St. Patrick's Day, now is the time. And this is the place. Yeah, seriously, Nabul should know it top to bottom now. So Nabul, that's the pool. And so Nabul got a little bit lost and we were telling him just follow the bikes. We figured it out. We got him out. There can be a delay between where the streamer is and where the chat is. And it can be, 10 seconds, it could be 30 seconds. So when Nabul says, what turn do I make? He doesn't necessarily see our answer. Our answer doesn't necessarily line up right away. All right, coming out of the park, this is Central Park West. So we've gone from 5th Avenue, across the park, to Central Park West, aka 8th Avenue. And thankfully our signal's coming back. I love being in the park, I love streaming the park, but buffer central, so we don't do it all the time. To our left is one of the funniest sights, I think, in New York City, which is that there is a parking lot on Central Park, right here between kind of 98th Street and 100th Street. I just think it's hysterical. That must be some of the most valuable real estate in all of New York City, and it's a parking lot. Sometimes this city cracks me up. It really does. So do us a favor, since we had that buffer, if you're not live anymore, hit the live button or hit refresh so we're all watching at the same time. So this is 100th Street, and there's a cool avenue right here. Starts right here at 100th. This is Manhattan Avenue. It's kind of similar, you know, if you're south of Houston, or if you're north of, say, 100 to 110th, the city doesn't follow the grid exactly in the same manner that it does in kind of the middle that everybody's most familiar with. It gets a little more complicated than that. So, Nabul, if you ever really want to get lost in New York City, that's how you do it. Just get off the grid. You'll have a real good time. Of course, if you do it on a live stream, people will probably help you out. Brian asked, are we going to run into Yo Ange over here? Would love to. Yeah, this is Yo Ange's neck of the woods. And you probably also recognize this from our good friend Walking Commuter, ends up over here. Liz checking in, good to see you. Diana Lee, here's the chatty birds. Look at that sky. I showed you guys before, there is some blue sky up there somewhere behind all these clouds, but these storm-looking clouds keep coming in. The light is changing. Yeah. Yep, both Gabe and Ange, this is kind of one of their hot spots. So again, we're kind of crossing 100th Street. Now we're on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. If you were to make a right, eventually you would get to Morningside Heights and Manhattanville, kind of the Columbia University area. And then if you were to continue, you're in Harlem, Hamilton Heights, and Washington Heights, and eventually, if you keep going all the way inward, lots going on over here. Got the fire truck coming in. I guess we can watch it back in. Kareem, good to see you. Yeah, we're on TV. This is where he ends on Wednesdays. Yep. Lois asking, how long have we been out? About 45 minutes, something like that. Tower Ladder 22. Making their way into the firehouse. On my left, the Bloomingdale Branch Library. If you're familiar with New York City history, you might know the Bloomingdale Road. Amsterdam Avenue. Lots of sirens today. The soundtrack of New York City. The soundtrack of New York City and the sights of New York City, the famous scaffolding. Wow, we are really in Yo Ange's neck of the woods. Isn't that the, I think she goes to that diner from time to time. Metro Diner. Probably looks familiar to some folks. Alibaba, good to see you. Coming up to Broadway. And the rain is starting. That's unfortunate. Anybody know how long it's going to rain? Hey Marzin, good to see you. Marzin's a fan of Broadway Bagel. Well, this is becoming a rain walk. The forecast did not have rain. Coming up to West End. Up ahead, I'll probably take my umbrella out. Coming down a little more than I anticipated. Especially since I didn't anticipate any. Hey Marcin, thanks for that. Yeah, we just crossed over the 7,000 subscriber mark, so thanks to everybody for subscribing. It's awesome to celebrate this city with you guys, explore with everybody. Let me get my umbrella out. Brian says it should pass very quickly. We can keep going a little bit. We'll see what happens. It's not coming down too hard. It's such a pain to hold the umbrella and the camera at the same time. Let's see what happens. S Field says 4:30. Ooh, that's a long time. That's annoying. We'll keep going for now. It's pretty light right now. I'm really testing the waterproofing abilities of these gimbals. Ian says that's when the scaffolding comes in handy. Exactly. Oh, Marcin, yeah, you're doing the Great Saunter. So the Great Saunter, if you don't know, is a continuous walk of the entire perimeter of Manhattan Island, 32 miles. So it is a serious undertaking. I've only ever done the perimeter in pieces. So I've done it over the course of 2 days, but the Saunter, you do it in 1 day. By the way, folks, this is the Firemen's monument. So I just want to pause here, pay our respects. Yeah, let me pull out my umbrella. It's coming down a little too much. Whoop. Sorry, gonna make you guys dizzy. Let's get out the old umbrella. Somewhere in here. Okay. All right, we have an umbrella. All right, my friends. So the area that we're in right now, Upper West Side, kind of along Riverside Drive. Let me show you the other side. This is again the memorial for the fire department. And I was not trying to be politically incorrect. They call it the Firemen's Memorial because it says to the men of the fire department on the other side. So that actually is the name of it. But obviously we pay our respects to everybody. Hey Ian, thanks for hanging out with us. So this one is interesting. It says this tablet is dedicated to the horses that shared in valor and devotion and with mighty speed bore on the rescues from the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Beautiful. Hopefully you guys are at least getting some of the rain sounds. It sounds really peaceful, even if it's a little more challenging to hold two devices. So we're going to cross the street, head over to another part of Riverside Drive, and we may go down a little bit, either to Riverside Park or to the Hudson River. S. Fields in the chat doing her best Al Roker impression. I was just over here walking with some family the other day, and I was saying, kind of similar to Central Park, but in some ways even more so. Riverside Park, you sort of feel like you're not even in New York City anymore. It is so pretty. It's a little bit disconnected, it's a little out of the way, and it's never very busy. So it's kind of a gem here in New York. It's especially fun on the weekend. Lots of families come out, everybody's walking the dog. It's just really peaceful. So we'll probably have a lot of this park almost to ourselves, especially on a rainy day. So we came across 100th Street. You can take this north all the way to 100th, and you can take this south to about 72nd Street. I think we're going to go south today, but we'll go north soon. Well, I want to do north on a nicer day. I've been wanting to take you guys to the Little Red Lighthouse, but I don't really want to do it on a bad day like today. We'll do it on a nice, pretty day. So today we'll go south. We'll just enjoy having a quiet walk in the park. Oh yeah, Ron, I know Ange loves it here. This is, if you've never been, Riverside is really, you really shouldn't miss it. It's really pretty, very peaceful. You know, except for the whole West Side Highway thing. Miss Kay, good to see you. Welcome. That loud sound, I forget, I think it's like Amtrak runs a line underneath us. So not a subway, but like a real train. As we go farther south, there are some community gardens in Riverside Park that I'll show you. Really cool. And along the way, there's all these playgrounds, there's baseball fields, there's all sorts of stuff. Usually we go straight down to the Hudson River and the Hudson River Greenway. Maybe we'll stay in Riverside Park today, and I'll show you from 100th to 72nd or so. I think that's the southern end. I'll show you more of the park itself without going any farther down. But there's a couple places like this where we have to cross the street. You'll see in a sec. But popping out is pretty cool because you see the really amazing architecture on Riverside Drive. There's a lot of cool sites on the west side. Miss Kay's checking in from Bristol in England. Welcome. And Esfield asks, is Riverside the park at the end of You've Got Mail? 100% accurate, yes. What's the dog's name? You have to remind me, even though I just watched it. I have the memory of a goldfish lately. So we have to cross this little street up here. And then one more intersection. And then we'll be back in the park. Brinkley, yes. I was like, Humphrey? No, that's not it. So you do have to be careful at this intersection because cars are coming off the West Side Highway and they're often coming awfully fast. But we are now back inside Riverside Park. Yeah, that was a fun one. I keep telling you guys, we're catching up on the Meg Ryan New York City Cinematic Universe. Eat your heart out, Marvel. It's so pretty down here. Tons of benches. And in a couple of areas, you're not too far from, in the park, there's a restaurant. Farther north at like 110 or something. I think it's called the Ellington. And then farther south, if you leave the park, go down to the Hudson River, there's the Pier I Cafe. We've walked by many times. Really love the west side. There's a lot of great places to stroll, have a nice afternoon, even on a rainy day. Liz's vote is When Harry Met Sally. Yeah, there you go. Hey, Beach Bum, welcome. Love a rainy day walk. Wasn't planning on it. I keep a little umbrella in my bag just in case. So we lucked out. But the forecast here has been so unpredictable lately. Keeps saying no rain, and then then it's raining. So along the right-hand side, anytime you see these stairs, that's what you would take if you wanted to go down farther to the waterfront and what's called the Hudson River Greenway. We do that all the time. We love it down there. But I think today we're gonna walk Riverside Park. But let me show it to you, because there's something called the Riverside Park Conservancy, similar to the Central Park Conservancy. And they do incredible landscaping and gardening. So you'll notice it's so pretty here. And Manhattan's a funny place, you know. Oftentimes people are so busy in their daily lives. This is right here, but a lot of people, you know, it's like an avenue or two far out of the way. And so it's never very busy. A little farther south where some of the playing fields are, that's where it gets busiest and families come out. But other than that, it's never very busy. AC, yeah, I was telling my wife about that. We were watching You've Got Mail. I said, have you ever seen the shop around the corner? And she didn't know what I was talking about. But yeah, it's the Jimmy Stewart version. Really, it's also very funny, very witty. I told you there's these beautiful gardens here. Little community gardens. Hey Sylvia, welcome. Isn't this nice? Marv letting us know that it ends at 91st Street. George Rucker, good to see you, welcome. Oh, I love it here. So this basically is 91st Street. Right up the stairs, that's the Soldiers and Sailors Monument. We've talked about that before. And we've talked how they're going to do some renovation work on it to the tune of $60 million, 6-0. Everything is more expensive in New York City. Let me give the lens a little wipe. Let's see if I can do that without getting more rain on it. Ron's asking how far the apartment was in real life. I don't know off the top of my head. I remember it being, you know, like an Upper West Side townhouse, but I don't remember specifically what the address was. If anybody in the chat wants to chime in. George Rucker's mom, another birthday. We have many birthdays in the chat today. May 4. It is so funny how birthdays all seem to coincide. But to George and his mother, happy 85th. Hey Darlene, good to see you. Welcome. Colleen, good to see you. Lots of dog parks in here as well. But since it's raining, I don't think we're going to see too many dogs today. Gets super muddy. I think most of the dog parents are thinking, not today, little one. Not today. Ooh, that is one big pigeon. Yeah, I don't see any dogs in the dog park today. Too much mud, poor pups. Hey Marit, good to see you. Welcome. There's another path you can take down to the Hudson River. That's the path I took last time I was here with a friend. Walked down to the water and we walked down to the 79th Street boat basin, still closed for renovations. And so in the boat basin, so there's a little series of docks, but on land, there used to be a restaurant and bar, and it was so popular, you know, especially during the summer. And it's been closed for a long time now, but I saw they were doing a lot of work over there. I mean, I don't think it's going to open in time this summer, maybe next summer. I can't wait for that to come back. That's a lot of fun. Nice to sit by the waterfront, have a beer. But I could confirm that they were doing construction, so, you know, hopefully Hopefully one day it'll reopen. Yeah, Rebecca, Riverside Park. Beautiful Riverside Park. David needs us to up the bagel content. So Marv, this is where I thought they met, but I think you're right that it was at the other gardens. I think you're right. This is what I had pictured where they were, but I think you're right. I'll show you a couple sites over here. There is the Warsaw Memorial just up ahead on the ground in this circular section. Hey Jay, welcome, good to see you. Love our friend Dutch. This is the Warsaw Memorial. Pay our respects. You can see there's some information. You can, if we ever go to like a New York City park and you see something interesting that you want to learn more about, all of these plaques, you can find the text online if you go to the New York City Parks website. And then we've talked about this many times before, but especially when you go to northern Manhattan, and we're not even that far north to be honest, but the farther north you go, the more of this you see. You can see kind of the Manhattan schist coming out of the ground. So this is the rock that made it so New York could grow tall. And especially in northern Manhattan, there's parts where it just kind of sticks out of the ground. It's kind of cool. Enrique, welcome. Good to see everybody. Happy May the 4th. Walking a little bit of Riverside Park. Ooh, some nice little color on this side. Not too shabby. So we saw a little bit of Central Park before until the buffer monster hit us. Crossed 100th Street. Now we're exploring a little bit of Riverside Park south. Ron TV says you've got mail where the social media back then was email groups. Well, you remember AOL keywords, and then AOL chat rooms, and then instant messenger, and then if you weren't on AOL, what was it called? News groups, user groups, news groups, I think. Usenet. What was the other one? CompuServe. ICQ. We've come a long way, haven't we? Ambrose says Prodigy. Rebecca says, I think Babe Ruth lived on Riverside Drive. This is true. I can never remember which building, but I think, I want to say that it was near 90th. That's what comes to my mind. I do know that that is correct. He did live on Riverside Drive. Maybe one day I'll make a list of some of the famous Riverside Drive buildings, and we'll try to find some of them. Oh yeah, Mika, if you watch You've Got Mail, they have the dial-up sounds. It's so funny. It's so funny to think what we had to do not that long ago. And now I'm out here streaming to hundreds of people on my cell phone. I think the rain is going away. Try to put my umbrella away for a little bit. One more street we have to cross. Hey Christian, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. So I was mentioning the 79th Street boat basin. This is where it used to be, over there. And you can see lots of construction and equipment going on, so it'll be back one day. But let's head back into the park once again. Let's take a look at the map. I'll show you. Let's see what the map says. Oh, this is perfect. So we started at 100th. The park actually goes even farther north to 125th. And we're going to take the park. So let me try to do this. We kind of have been on this interior section. We're going back in now. We had to cross the street. We're going back in now. Oh no, we're down here. So we took the interior section. We had to pop out. We're going to go back in, and we're going to take it down to 72nd Street. But that would take us to the waterfront, so we'll go this way. That's a pretty tree. Look at that. So we passed 79th Street, and the park goes till 72nd, so 7 more blocks. You'll see this is the area that gets probably busiest in my experience. Lots of playgrounds, parks, things for the kiddos. And then when we get to 72nd, we can decide what we're doing next. Osfly Girl reached out to somebody who responded with an AOL email address, though they still exist. That's one of those businesses where you imagine there's, a million people who forgot to unsubscribe, and for 20 years they've been getting billed by AOL. And eventually they notice on their credit card statement and cancel it, but Funny, funny. I would not think you'd see too many AOL email addresses in the wild anymore. Ambrose was holding on to dial-up. We were always a very tech-forward family. So growing up, I do remember we had a computer. One of them was a Zenith. I don't remember what the other one was, but maybe Packard. One of them, the monitor, was orange text on a black background, and the other was green text on a black background. Hey, C has AOL. It still exists. It's a thing, it's real. And then I remember those early Macs that, you know, super small, but because the monitor was built in and it was the old kind. So what did they weighed like 30 pounds. Oh, how times have changed. It's so pretty down here. You hear the birds chirping. Just beautiful. So I think, let's go this way. We'll go to the waterfront. We'll see if my battery lasts long enough. I kind of want to see if we can get to the High Line. I'll have to pick up the pace a little bit. Got to walk about 2 miles. Like 1.5 miles, I guess. Something like that. I'll have to pick up the pace a little bit, but we'll try to walk down the waterfront and see if we can get to the High Line and do a little of that. But if you've been on the channel before, you know it's not too difficult to persuade me to walk her along the Hudson River. Ron TV gonna bring his typewriter to the Starbucks. That would be so funny. Let me see if I can close up my umbrella a little more. It's probably making lots of noise. Super muddy over here. Okay, umbrella sorted. I think we're going to hold on to it though for a little while just in case the rain comes back. These clouds are not friendly looking. Dave Alexander in a New York state of mind. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully we can get you a little bit of a New York fix. Ooh, I'm gonna have to put my sunglasses on. It's one of those days. Cloudy, rainy, and then sunny. Beautiful. I'll take sunny. Okay, I probably need to be on this side, I guess. Let's try not to get mowed down by bicyclists. So this is the Hudson River that we're coming up to. So we started at 5th Avenue, went through Central Park, went through Riverside Park, and now we are here on what is called the Hudson River Greenway. And I'm going to try to pick up my pace a little bit so that we can try to get to the High Line and still have a little juice left so that we can walk the High Line. But I love walking along the Hudson. It's so peaceful. RJ's here. Good to see you. We're really having a blast from the past technology chat today. The other thing with dial-up is, it was that or the phone, right? Like you couldn't make calls while you were on the information superhighway. So I mentioned there were a couple places you can eat on the path we've taken so far. So behind us was the Ellington in Riverside Park, and then just up ahead, we're going to walk by it in a second, is Pier I Cafe. I don't know that it's opened yet for the season, but even when it's not open, the seating is available. But when it is open, you get an order of French fries, get a beer, have a mighty good time. Rebecca asks, is it chilly here today? So it was earlier with the clouds and the wind, but now that the sun is coming out, I'm feeling a little bit overdressed. It's one of those days, where you can just never get it just right. When we started the walk, it was definitely sweater weather. Not so much now. And there's all these piers. So this is Pier I. And on our left, Pier I Cafe. Really fun place to just hang out during the summer. So I'm sure it'll be reopening soon. But really fun spot to sit and hang out. RJ, how we doing? How are things going? So above us is the West Side Highway. Thankfully, it's elevated. I mean, I wish we didn't have to hear it, but at least, we have the waterfront set aside just for walking, running, and bikes. And then along the Hudson's all this old rail infrastructure. So things used to get shipped in along the Hudson River, put onto train cars to get moved around. And they've incorporated some of this old stuff into the kind of decorations around here. It's really cool. Really recommend it over here if you've never been. So Marzin, who was on earlier, I don't know if he's still on, but Marzin, I was saying, he was saying he's doing the Great Saunter. So a full perimeter walk of Manhattan, 32 miles. So to anybody who's participating in that, good luck. Unfortunately, I failed to register in time, so I'll have to do it on my own one day. But the west side, this path that we're on right now, runs basically uninterrupted across the entire length of Manhattan. It's a really, really, really fun walk. So if you're not able to do the full 32 miles, but you think you might be able to do, 12 or 13, you could just do the west side. And unlike the east side, there's not really many detours. It's pretty easy to do if you can do that sort of distance. My only advice is start north and work your way south, because the northern end of Manhattan is hilly, and you want to, in my experience, you want to get that out of the way first. Gets easier as you go. Oh, there's Marsden. There he is. The Great Saunter is also going to be really tough for me to negotiate with my wife, because it's going to mean me being gone an entire day, but also that the next day I'll probably be totally useless. So I'll have to negotiate 48 hours of not being terribly helpful with the kiddo. Ooh, it is so sunny all of a sudden. It's beautiful. Got the sun peeking out. Feels great. Oh, there's our geese. Honk, honk. Oh, Liz is planning to do the Saunter next year. Right on. I know thousands of people register for it. Lots of helicopters over here. So let me pause here for a second. Next time we do this walk, we're going to go north instead. And we're going to go there. If you can see the bridge in the far distance, that's the GW, the George Washington. And underneath it is one of my favorite sites in New York City, called the Little Red Lighthouse. But I want to do that on a nicer day, so another time. But that's one of my favorite walks. It's really fun to end up by the lighthouse. It's really fun. And my guess is the signal would be really tricky. But we could try to go to Fort Tryon, which is where the Cloisters is. We could try. We could see what happens. My guess is it's probably not too easy to stream there, but we can try. We can see what happens. Oh, Lost Fly Girl, you gotta look it up. So they have a children's book about it. It's a really old lighthouse, and it was decommissioned, so they were gonna tear it down. But there was such a public outcry that it was saved. I have a book for my little kiddo about it. Yeah, that's a good question, how much we're going to do today. It might be a 10-mile day. 10 is probably a good guess. Let's check the watch. We can see how far we've gone. So according to the watch, we've done 5.5. And I think we'll do at least 4 more miles. But then you tack on anything I do outside of the video. I think we'll have a 10-mile day. Hey Patrick, good to see you. Yeah, isn't that a great story, Osfly? They saved it so that generations of children had something to explore and see and visit. Honk, 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 honk. Oh my gosh, look, there's little babies. I'm not going to get close, but let me zoom in. Little babies. Oh my gosh, wow. We got to be careful around the parents. I'm sure they are not going to be messing around. Hey, Stylish Bunny's here. If you just joined, if I missed you, welcome. Good to see you. Oh, they're so cute. Little fluffies. They're so fluffy. Oh, that was beautiful. So a new season of geese are here. It's so funny. We'll do this walk so many times that we'll see them again and we'll watch them grow up. And they grow fast. You'll be shocked. We will see them again. Oh, I love it. I'm so glad we got to see that. I can't believe it's already time for another generation coming out. They were so fluffy looking. But yeah, I do not want to mess with those parents. Sometimes we see the geese in Central Park, and people get really close to them. You know, they try to feed them or want to pet them and stuff, and I'm just thinking, that is such a bad idea. Via 57, I think this is called. Hey, Busy Bee, good to see you. Welcome. We're trying to hightail it a little bit, get over to the High Line. Ooh, another big puddle. Puddle, puddle everywhere. So we have about just one more mile to go. That'll take us to the High Line. That was via 57, so I know we're crossing 57th Street. And we're going to 34th. Hudson Yards. So we have to be a little careful over here because our sidewalk is gone. And so I don't want to get run over by a bike. There's one of my favorite of all sights. My big bottle of wine. Last time we did this walk, we went over by it, so it's a piece of art. The interior of the bottle of wine is made up to look like a room on a cruise ship. Very funny. But every time I see it, I think, I could really go for a glass of wine. Hey Hassan, good to see you. .55th Street. If anybody's got some serious pocket change, you could pick up a Maserati right over there. I keep digging through the couch cushions and I never find enough. Can you guys hear all the bird sounds? It's incredible today. Must have been like after the rain, they must all come out. Yeah, why is no one walking? Yeah, so it's been rainy this afternoon. It's also a little early, so a lot of folks are still working. But the combination of people are either at work or they just didn't want to go out in the rain. So not a ton of people. Coming up to the cruise port, this is where Manhattan, where cruise ships, if they're going to come to Manhattan, this is where they dock. A lot of NYPD presence over here. I guess we'll see what's going on. I wonder why. If anybody knows why NYPD is hanging out around here right now, let me know. Robojack's good to see you. Hey, Yo Ange is in the chat. Yo Ange, we were just in your neck of the woods. We came over from the east side, my neighborhood, to yours. We crossed 100th Street. And then we went hanging out in Riverside Park, beautiful Riverside Park. And because of the rain, there was nobody there. And very few pooches today. So we had Riverside Park to ourselves, but beautiful as always. Leela, good to see you. If I missed, I've got the gimbal in my left hand and I still have my umbrella in my right hand. I'll put it away eventually, but in case the rain came out, I was still holding onto it, so I'm not scrolling through the chat. So if I missed you, welcome. Happy to have you with us. A little afternoon jaunt around Manhattan. We're really covering our miles today. Coming up to, this is 52nd Street. Once we pass the cruise port, we will be at the Intrepid, the Sea, Air, and Space Museum, bringing us to 42nd. And then next major intersection, 34th, that's where we'll pop out, head over to the High Line. Adriana, welcome. So I thought the NYPD meant that we might see some a boat, but I don't see anything. So I don't know what that was about. Beautiful blue sky finally coming out. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. If any of my fellow YouTubers are on, I'm not going to be able to tonight, but I always say a rainy day, if the forecast is the rain's going to stop, we tend to have really incredible sunsets. And so if anybody wants to have my idea, it would be to do a sunset walk tonight. I have a feeling it'll be a really beautiful one. But I won't be able to do that myself. So that's my free idea if anybody wants it. Christian, the IRS is coming after me. I wouldn't blame them. I wouldn't blame them. Oh, to our right, I just saw a couple of Navy security guys. So maybe they're doing prep work for some military ships. That's kind of my current guess. Maybe they're starting to secure the area. That's my best guess. Lily, welcome. All of our friends tuning in. Good to see everybody. Yeah, the more I walk, I didn't have much of a lunch today. So I think my wife and I are going to celebrate Cinco de Mayo tonight. I think that's the plan. And I am getting so hungry. I'm ready for a margarita. I don't know about you guys. I'm already ready. Yeah, lots of US Navy security over here. Interesting. It says no trespassing, US Navy restricted area. So that's what's going on. Oh wow. There's the NYPD boat. Oh, there we go. Oh, here's what, so this is why. This is why. Check that out. So it is a Navy ship. That is beautiful. Look at that thing. We'll get a better view in a minute when I can get past the past this bridge, but hold on. Look at that. And there's an NYPD security boat. I'll get a good view once we could get up ahead. Beautiful. Gosh, that's pretty impressive. All right, well, I can turn in up ahead just here. So this is the, on our left, sorry, on the left of the screen right now, that's the Intrepid, that's the Sea, Air, and Space Museum. But that's not what I was pointing out. I was pointing out this ship right here. This is what all that security was for. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Do we have any of our Navy folks in the chat and know what the story is with this ship? It's obviously got the colors up and there's a ton of security. Navy security and lots of NYPD, including there was an NYPD boat kind of circling around. It's a serious looking ship. But yeah, if anybody in the chat knows what's going on, let me know. Super interesting. All right, let's head onwards because I want to get to the High Line. Yeah, Ambrose, that's what I was thinking. So I don't know what the story is. But obviously looks like some sort of celebration or occasion or something. Okay, I just Googled it. And here's what I'm seeing. USS Cooperstown, LCS 23, it said 23, so it's the literal combat ship. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But it's the future USS Cooperstown being welcomed to New York City. It honors the 70 Hall of Famers who served the United States during wartime in a range of conflicts spanning the Civil War, World War I, World War II, and the Korean War. This heritage is reflected in the ship's motto, America's Away Team. Interesting. So if anybody wants to look up that ship, wants to read more about it, it is the USS Cooperstown. Fascinating, kind of interesting. I did not see that. That is, if you had asked me in a million years to guess what the backstory was, I would not have in a million years guessed baseball Hall of Famers. Hey, Emily Wales, welcome to all of our friends all over this beautiful earth. We're happy to have you with us. Cooperstown. I'm just blown away that that's just a fascinating little bit of trivia right there. So frequent viewers will recognize this area. This is kind of Pier 83, 84, just south of the Intrepid. And if you wanted to take one of the Circle Line cruises, this is where you would pick that up. And then a little farther down in the ferry terminal, that's where we often pick up the west, what is it, 39th Street, something like that, New York City ferry, which we take down to Battery Park City from time to time. Nothing wrong with the Circle Line, but if you want to take the New York City ferry, it's only $4. So it's just a very affordable way to see some pretty great sights. On our left, 42nd Street. I'm actually thinking we might exit here and walk a little bit of like 11th Avenue. Show you guys something different. I think that's what we might do. I think we might do something a little different today. Oh, Ian enjoyed our last ride on the ferry. Yeah, it's always really fun. It's always really fun. You get really spectacular views. And that route, that particular route, you can take it one stop to Battery Park City. If you take it the second stop, it goes to Staten Island, and it takes you closer to the Statue of Liberty than the Staten Island ferry. The closest, of course, is the Circle Line, but it's just a very affordable way to get similar views. So let's head over to 11th Avenue, and we'll walk to the High Line via 11th Avenue. Just something a little different. We don't do this all the time. By the way, if you're ever visiting China, this is the Chinese consulate. So if you have to get a visa, that's where you have to go. Hey, Mighty Bull's in the house. Good to see you. Ambrose, yes. You saw through me. A lot of fancy apartments over here, lots of new quote-unquote luxury buildings. So we're on 42nd Street. We're all the way on the west side. I'm overdue for a river to river walk. So one of these days we'll do 42nd Street river to river. But today we're going to hang a right on 11th Ave coming up. We will walk to 34th Street, otherwise known at that area as Hudson Yards. And we will check into the High Line. So today is a park day, so we've done Central Park. That's cool. This guy's doing great. He's very calm, very relaxed, driving very safely. So this area is particularly fun If you're a photography fan, we are not terribly far from B&H Photo, one of the best stores on earth. Also nearby, coming up in just a little bit, the Javits Center, our convention center, which you may be familiar with. Things like anime convention, all that, Comic-Con. And then check out the view to our left. Beautiful Empire State Building. Let's wait for the traffic to go by. Hold on, let me get past this truck. You're in our way. You're blocking our beautiful view. Walks in camera, good to see you. So, I should say, if you're anywhere in New York City near a tunnel, so right now we're very near the Lincoln Tunnel. These are the worst places in New York City to walk. The drivers are so terrible. They're very unsafe. They will run red lights. They will block the intersection, all sorts of stuff. So if you're ever near a tunnel, just be super, super, super careful. There's the Empire State Building, majestic as always, standing tall at 34th Street and 5th Avenue. To give you a sense of where we're standing right now, we are at 40th Street and 11th Avenue. But what a sight that is. Always beautiful. But yeah, you got to be super careful walking around these tunnel streets. Must be something going on at the convention center. Lots of people with their badges. CWCB Expo, a cannabis expo. Well, I didn't see that coming. I did not expect that. That is so funny. That is so funny. All those people, by the way, were waiting for, you know, Ubers and Lyfts and stuff.
I'm on
and good luck with that. A lot of people very out of the way. They're not going to have much luck right now. Cannabis Expo, that is so funny. Hey, Chris MG, good to see you. Jennifer says they should all be very happy in there. No kidding. Hysterical. Liz says somebody notify Dutch quick. Oh, that cracks me up. Hey Leah, good to see you. Welcome. I think the light's going to change, so let's just cross here. Yep.
Well, and it's also just kind of calls out like the specific behavior that is causing.
We can actually, there's a park up ahead that we can walk to take us into Hudson Yards. Bella Abzug Park, I believe it's called. Marie says, do they serve cake there? I think they might. Ooh, look at that graffiti. That's kind of cool. Oh, that was so funny. I did not guess that. So coming up to Hudson Boulevard, Bella Abzug Park, this takes us to Hudson Yards, which is the kind of luxury new development here in New York City. Hotels, very fancy shops, and then the beautiful elevated park known as the High Line. One of my favorite places to walk around in New York City. That is where we are headed. So we'll make a right here. And this will take us into Hudson Yards. You can see in the distance the vessel, controversial piece of public art, currently closed to the public, which I'll let you Google on your own if you want to read about that. All I can say is I wish that they would raise the glass around the sides of it. That is all I will say on the topic today. So this is a beautiful little park. So there's a train station up ahead. We'll walk by it in a second. And you just pop out here. You could go into the shops at Hudson Yards. There's lots of places to eat. And what I would do is I would pick up something to go and bring it right down out here. Maybe not on a rainy day, of course, but on a nice day, this is a really fun place to sit, relax, eat. And then you could go do the High Line, take yourself down to the Meatpacking district in Chelsea, you know, for the next part of your day. So this is what I was talking about, all the drivers near the tunnels. They're just sitting in the intersection. Not very nice. So that means the crosswalk is very unsafe, but they don't care. Whatever. So this is the train station I was mentioning. 34th Street, Hudson Yards. You can take the 7. 7 goes right across town. Very convenient to a lot of the big terminals. So very easy to get over here. Ooh, that's a nice little stand, little cart. Marie loves all these small parks everywhere. Yeah, and if you're not super familiar, New York has many more parks than people think, because lots of neighborhoods do have these tiny parks, sometimes called pocket parks. And so if you're wandering around the city, just go on, you know, Google Maps or Apple Maps and type in park, and you will discover so many more than I think you could possibly imagine. Some of them are tiny, but if you ever just need a place to sit and you want something beautiful to look at, there's countless parks in New York City, all over the place. So on our left, the shops at Hudson Yards. Most of it's pretty upscale, but there's some stuff like Uniqlo, Muji, I think H&M and Zara. In addition to the super fancy stuff. That's also where you would go if you want to visit the Edge, which is one of the great observation decks. Osfly says, pocket parks, good for the soul, 100%. 100%. The Shed, they do art and performing arts. And what's interesting is that this roof over here, this big, interesting silver looking roof, can actually open up, go backwards. You can see the wheels. So they can roll the roof back and open up the space. It's just fascinating. Oh, Darlene checking out some of the hotel prices for us. So the Equinox Hotel, on the other side of the vessel is the Equinox Hotel. And Darlene says you can get a 2-bedroom penthouse suite, so probably way up there. Discount price of only $12,145 a night. So I don't know, if you guys want to, how many people do we have on? If everybody donates $600 right now, no, I'm just kidding. Let's head into the High Line. Let us head into the High Line. RoboJack says, not very windy there today. It's, I would call it breezy. Pretty light right now. Oh, look at this, a mindful walk. Take a moment to clear your mind and experience the park in a new way with the High Line self-guided meditation walk. Ooh, that's awesome. The cheapest room, so the real discount, the cheapest room is $973 per night. See, I wouldn't even want to do that. If I'm going to spend $1,000 a night, which, to be very clear, I'm not going to do. But if I was going to spend $1,000 a night, don't you want to stay at the Plaza? Like, don't you want to stay at somewhere like that? I'll show you the Shed. Check out this. So there's a couple spurs along the High Line. There's another spur that goes this way around the Shed. There's a spur over here. And look at that. Let me zoom in. Isn't that cool? Kind of like a fluorescent pink tree. So there's all sorts of public art here. Gosh, $1,000 a night. Yeah, Marie, there's so much on the ground. There's so many parks. It's really fun. But yeah, if you just go on like Google Maps and you zoom in really close on Manhattan Island, type in parks, you know, obviously you'll see the, you know, the big ones, Central Park. But when you start to zoom in on different neighborhoods, and they're all, on Google Maps at least, they're all green, you'll notice, you know, sometimes really, really, really tiny ones, but they're really fun. Ambrose says that one's called Old Tree Not Yet Opened. Yeah, it looked pretty new. I hadn't noticed that one yet. But there's always, basically the way they do the art on the High Line is it's kind of seasonal. So every few months it changes. And then the other thing that happens is some of the buildings neighboring the High Line get in on the fun and decorate as well.
For the current moment.
Mika back home, heading out. Hey, have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with us. And while a bunch of people have joined, I posted earlier today around noon a very short video from Central Park. I tried something a little different than what we normally do. And yesterday I was wandering around the park and just took some short clips. So it's only a few minutes long and it's set to music, but if you want to check that out, I was explaining earlier, anytime we do something unusual on YouTube, the algorithm kills us because our normal videos, are like an hour long. So when I post like a 3-minute video, YouTube's telling me, hey, people aren't watching this one as long as your other ones. And it's like, yeah, no kidding, it's 3 minutes long. So if you want to do us a favor and seek that out, it would really be helpful. And if you enjoy it, share it with a friend. I think it turned out okay. Hopefully you guys agree. AC says it looks busy up there today. Yeah, it's super busy. I'm a little surprised because of how empty Riverside Park and the Hudson River Greenway were. But this is where everybody is. People visiting the city aren't going to let a little rain on their parade. Oh, Rebecca, are you in San Francisco? Love San Francisco. My wife's favorite site in San Francisco is the Sutro Baths.
Mano getting rejected.
Yeah, we covered a good bit of ground today. I'm not getting out as frequently these days, just a lot of family stuff going on. So when we do get out, we make it worth our while. I was saying before, I think this is a 10-mile day. We're probably at the 7+ mile mark. Oh, it's my pleasure, Osfly. It's my pleasure, my pleasure. We love sharing this fair city with folks who enjoy it as much as we do. Oh, is our binoculars still over there? Okay, so the story of this is, you can see that there's some binoculars over there, but they don't look out. Instead, they have cameras on the inside that point at whoever is looking through them. The cameras point at the eyeballs of the person looking through them. It's so funny. So on these screens on our left, when somebody looks through, we're looking at their eyes. Oh, it's so funny. I think that's such a hysterical piece of art. People get very puzzled by it. John Burke saying, how's our family? Yeah, we're doing okay. We're still working on the whole sleep thing. And I feel like we've been saying this for a long time about the teething, but we're feeling some teeth come in. So, you know, it's just a little, there's just stuff going on. But we're surviving. We're surviving. Kiddo gets bigger every day. So this is the beautiful High Line, the elevated park here in New York City, running from Hudson Yards through Chelsea to the Meatpacking District and the far West Village. Beautiful landscaping along the way, and it's, as we've talked about, it's been raining so much lately that it is so lush right now. You can hear the birds singing their songs. The flowers are starting to come in. And then from season to season, they bring in all sorts of public art. It's just a wonderful place to visit.
Not enough time.
Se ve cañón, ¿no?
Hey, Monica's checking in. Venice, one of our favorite places on earth.
Oh.
Yeah, Osfly, that's it's the funniest thing with the kiddo and the sleep. You just think, like, as an adult, well, most adults, maybe not everybody, that sleep is like the best thing on earth, right? And for him, it's like your responsibilities are sleep, eat, and play. But sleep, it turns out, does not always come easy. Let me zoom in so I can show you guys the edge. So I was mentioning the edge before. It's one of the great observation decks here in New York City. Way, way, way up there in the sky. And on the edge of it, on the edge of the edge, there's a clear section that you can stand on top of and see all the way down to the ground. It's really fun. And I always tell people it's kind of similar, you know, to the Brooklyn Bridge and the Manhattan Bridge. Sometimes you want to go on the Manhattan Bridge so that you can get the view of the Brooklyn Bridge. You know, your instinct may be, I want to go to the Empire State Building. But if you do one of the other observation decks, you get to see the Empire State Building. So just think about that. That's exactly right. Kids and adults have it exactly backwards. This is 23rd Street. For any of our friends who like to watch Dutch, this is one of the elevators that he often goes up or down. But we're getting a little better with the kiddo. The big thing that we're working on right now is trying to get him to do most of his eating during the daytime. And it's definitely making an improvement. We're making progress. It's just, it doesn't all happen overnight. I should show this. We always kind of walk quickly by it. So the building next to us has some amazing artwork on it of different artists. There's Andy Warhol, and we can see a little more on the other side. Basquiat and Keith Haring. I think I just didn't get the angle at the right time. There were so many people, so we missed Frida Kahlo. But let me see if I can get you Keith Haring. And the trees have come in, the leaves have come in, but normally you would see Keith Haring and Basquiat, but there's too many leaves right now. But in the meantime, we have this beautiful piece of art. I love this. So the artist, the story behind this is kind of inspired by first arriving in New York City. And so you have all these symbols of New York, the pigeon, the pizza, the subway, the Statue of Liberty, and on and on and on. I love it. So the artist is Nina Chanel Abney, and it's called New York City Love, NYC Love. So if you want to read more about it, if you go to the Highline website, just search around for NYC Love. I love that piece of art. Oh, there's a sort of view. I love when all the plants start to bloom, but it's blocking our view of the artists. Oh, it's so beautiful here, and very peaceful, very peaceful. You know, even when there's a crowd. Brian likes the pizza slice faces, totally. I just love it, you know, and obviously she put, you know, a very, you know, her spin on it, all of it, so the Statue of Liberty, you know, being the obvious, you know, African American. But I love it, you know, it's like seeing New York City through somebody else's eyes. Hey, Christian's feeling the love. We love to hear it. Who's going to Vegas? Is it Stylish Bunny? Yeah, the best part of going to Vegas is the food. It's all the same restaurants as New York City, but you can get into them. And they cost a little less, surprisingly. But if you want to go to Carbone, just go to Vegas. Here's some new art. I think we saw this briefly. Oh, maybe it wasn't a live stream. I think it was on a recorded walk. I saw this last time. Let's go read about it. I didn't read about it last time. UG, column untitled number 3. The artist lives in Shanghai, known for a diverse artistic practice, working across sculpture, installation, performance, and video. Her sculptures combine natural forms and materials such as the human body and live moss with industrial building materials such as concrete and rebar. So for the High Line, responds to the park as an infrastructure relic turned into a public garden. That's awesome. And behind it, you can see another angle of the Empire State Building. Beautiful. S. Fields thinks I should live stream King Charles' coronation. The funny thing about the coronation, and I mean this with, I don't, you know, how do I say this the right way? I mean this with sincerity. I'm not making fun of anything. But as a foreigner to the United Kingdom, the names of certain objects or traditions as a foreigner sometimes sound very silly. So they have like the Sword of Destiny, there's the Stone of Scone or something.
Wait, do it.
There's just certain things where if you're not familiar with the history and you're just seeing the name for the first time, it comes across a little silly. That's all I'm saying. I mean that with respect. These buildings, by the way, it's a lantern house, but I always think they look like beer barrels. So anyways, S Fields, does that give you a sense of if somebody plopped me down in the United Kingdom, the sort of biting commentary that I could offer? Steve says, what is coronation? Oh, it's the celebration, the official crowning of King Charles. So, obviously it doesn't happen in many people's, it doesn't necessarily happen, that many people alive have ever experienced one. So it is a big deal, in the historical sense, whether or not, whatever you feel about the monarchy. Chris says, as a Brit, it's all silly. I mean, it's the funniest thing, right? It's the funniest thing. But again, I mean that with respect because I'm sure our traditions, the names of things, if you're seeing it for the first time, might come across as silly. Ambrose got coronated at the dentist's office. That's where you got crowned? Well done, well done. Hats off to Ambrose. So one bit of sad news to report. This used to be the spot where you could see two statues of Liberty, the real Statue of Liberty, and then until recently, there was a artwork over here that I really enjoyed that was also a Statue of Liberty. But the artwork is gone. Our second Statue of Liberty is gone. But if you're standing right here, so we're right next to Chelsea Market. If you're standing right here, in the very far distance is the real Statue of Liberty. Wow, it's so funny. People have very strong opinions about the monarchy and the coronation and everything. It does feel like one of those things that comes from a very different time. But I know it's great for tourism money. Standing outside of Buckingham Palace. So this is Chelsea Market. Former home to the Nabisco Corporation. What was it? Nabisco North American Biscuit Company? Something like that. Christian saw Lady Liberty wink back at us. We'll take it. Man's checking in from Kuala Lumpur. Welcome. Good to have you. To our right, Little Island. And then to our left, right here, beautiful sky bridge connected to the Chelsea Market. And then, like I said, over this way you can see Little Island, another great park in New York City. We have a recorded walk over at the High Line pretty recently if you want to check that out. Really love Little Island. That's a fun spot to visit. Great views. There's a nice view of One World Trade Center over there, also Empire State Building and the High Line and the Hudson River. So if you've never been, definitely check out Little Island. It is getting real sunny and real hot all of a sudden. So earlier we passed 23rd Street, now we're coming up to 14th Street, marking the widest point on Manhattan Island, which is not particularly wide. So Little Island actually was paid for by a guy named Barry Diller and a woman named Diane von Fostenberg. And if you want to check out Diane's dresses, you can do it right down there. She often also has artwork in there. Little Island and Long Island, exactly. All the pieces are coming together. All the pieces are coming together. Big Horn, another Sean checking in. Good to see you. So as we come through this section right here, on the other side will be the Standard Hotel, which sits right on top of the High Line. And when it first opened, you could look into all of the windows. And so at the very beginning, it attracted a very specific type of clientele. And every time we walk by, I think, is today going to be the day where we film something inappropriate and somebody complains? One day, folks, one day. So one last view of Little Island right there. But the other thing I want to point out is this little metal structure right here, marking the pier of the White Star Lines. That's where the Titanic was supposed to come in. And eventually the survivors did. But an interesting little historical artifact. It's registered as a landmark, so it's not going anywhere. And there's a few, in my last Little Island video, there's a few plaques on the ground that talk about the history. And I filmed them, so if you want to pause at those moments, you can read a little bit about what's going on over there. But an interesting little bit of history. So yeah, Ambrose, we're now directly underneath an entire hotel. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. But the Standard Hotel is right above us right this second. During winter, they had a little, what do you call it? They had these kind of bumper car things. It looks like it's now like going to be a disco roller derby or something. Art Stone, yeah, exactly. So the High Line used to be a functioning rail line. You can see some of the pieces of the rail infrastructure still here. So they'd bring all sorts of stuff, including cattle, as you described, because this is the meatpacking district. And I think you can put all the pieces together to figure out what they were doing. Cattle came in, meat went out. Kyle Williams, welcome. It's good to see everybody. So we're coming to the end of the High Line. The Whitney marks the end of the High Line. I think what we'll do is, I have a little battery life left, so why don't we do this? We'll pop down, and why don't we go over to Little Island? Let's finish at Little Island today. I don't remember the last time we did that on a stream. So we'll pop down and then we'll walk back to the Hudson River, and we will finish the stream at Little Island. Beautiful Little Island with a nice view. How's that sound? The Whitney, of course, modern American art, really fun museum. And the Whitney building has terraces, so you have some really spectacular views up there. Really recommend it. Really recommend that if you've never been. There's also public restrooms right there on our right. Super fun. And while we walk over there, let me see if I can put this link in the chat. But after the video ends, it would mean a lot to me if you would check out the little Central Park video I made earlier. So I'll put the link in the chat if I can figure this out. It's just a little short video, just a few minutes long, but hoping you guys will check it out. Let me know what you think and whether we should do more videos like it in the future. Okay, here we go. Oh, by the way, every time we walk over here, there's a little pizza place right there, Simo. I've never been, but it smells so good. It smells so good, so I'm sure it tastes great. If I wasn't preparing to celebrate Cinco de Mayo with my wife tonight, because we have obligations tomorrow, I would kill for that pizza right now. I'll show you guys something funny over here. So again, this is the Meatpacking District, and so there are still some remnants of the Meatpacking District, so like these food distribution points. And if you look up, you'll notice the owls. It's kind of a funny thing. I guess they had a bird problem. So they put these owls up. Ambrose, yeah. You know, trying something different from time to time. We've done a few different things recently. So the other one that I had fun making was the Park Avenue photo walk. So what I did on that one, if you haven't seen it yet, is I took an action camera that I was wearing. So that was taking the video, and that left my hands free to take photos. And then what I did in the editing was where I was taking the pictures, I put in the video the pictures that I took. just a different way to experience the city. You know, taking photos. You're kind of looking around you differently. So we'll probably do more of that. I had fun making that one. It's definitely more work, especially the editing, but I thought it was pretty fun to make. Ooh, the light. Sorry, we're gonna hustle a little bit because I want to get to the little island before we run out of battery. So at these intersections, you got to be super careful. The bikes are supposed to pause. They're supposed to yield to people crossing, but they basically never do. So just be super careful crossing. Steve Gonzalez, always good to see you, my friend. Have a good one. I just want to walk very quickly over here. I mentioned that this structure was the pier marker for the White Star Lines. And if you come right over here, it has these historic markers. And this one reads, "The unsinkable ship. The first years of the 20th century marked the heyday of luxury transatlantic ocean liners, but also witnessed their most infamous disasters. In 1912, these piers were the intended destination for the maiden voyage of the Titanic. After hitting an iceberg in the North Atlantic, the ship quickly sank and the lives of most passengers and crew were lost. The 710 survivors, rescued by the passenger ship Carpathia, were brought to Pier 54, where these piles stand today." And then there's another marker for the Lusitania. But that's why this is here. So a fascinating little bit of history if you're into that sort of thing. But let's head on to Little Island, where we will finish with some really amazing views. Oh, look at that. A view already. Look at this. And there's also an FDNY fire ship right there. All right, let's head up because I'm draining the battery quickly and I want to get you guys some good views. So while we walk up here, so this is Little Island at Pier 55, just north of us. The building next door, Pier 57, also has an outdoor park on the roof. So that building is owned by Google. It's one of their offices, and they made some sort of arrangement with the city where they guaranteed the roof as a public park. And 90% of the people come to Little Island, they don't go to that park. So if you ever want to, you go right over there on the rooftop, and it's like you have a park to yourself. It's really incredible. Ooh, the concession stand is open. I can have a snack. Fantastic. Last few times I've been here, the concessions were closed. So there's all sorts of stuff going on here. On this side, you can walk up there, get some nice views. There's a little amphitheater, a tiny one right there, mostly for kids stuff. Like they'll bring in performers, clowns and stuff to entertain the kids. There's another amphitheater over here. We're going to see that in a second. And then where we're actually heading is right up here. Marit, heading out. Hey, it's great to have you. Have a lovely night. And thanks for hanging out with us. Let me show you the the amphitheater. So they do public events there, you know, like music and stuff. And if you can ever figure out when they're going to have a concert, go during the daytime. You might see them practicing for the evening. Lisa and I have done that. It's really fun. Sunset Blue, good to see you. Welcome. Lots of flowers coming in here. This place gets so beautiful in the summertime. Covered in flowers. Lots of people come out having a good time. People will kind of line up all along the greens here. Sometimes they put a piano right down there. We've gotten some video of that in the past. It's really fun. So if you've never been here, you really check out some of our older videos of Little Island. That guy had a serious camera, didn't he? Putting our little iPhone to shame. Marsden, we're still walking. Yeah, I was explaining earlier, I don't get to go out too often these days. We just have a lot of family stuff going on, so when I go out, we stretch our legs. We make good use of our time. But we're coming to the end, folks. We're coming to the end. Once we make it to the top, we'll get some nice views of the Hudson. And that'll be it for today. So we're coming to the end, my friends. Let me pause here for a second. I'll show you some of where we've been. So when we were on the High Line and I was pointing out Little Island, we were standing right there. There's the Empire State Building. There's the Standard Hotel. So we walked right underneath that. We were standing right there. A little farther north, that is the Edge. And then this is the Pier 57 rooftop park I was mentioning. I only see like a handful of people over there. So you really can have the whole place to yourself. It's so relaxing. And then let me show you the view south. Through the trees, the beautiful One World Trade Center through this beautiful couple of trees. Lots of amazing sights. But here we are at the tip top of Little Island. We've made it. So we started on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, Cooper Hewitt. We walked up Fifth Avenue. We wanted to see Conservatory Garden, but it was closed for a fundraiser. We walked through Central Park, had a rather major buffer. Walked across the park, walked across 100th Street to Riverside Park. So we made it from the Upper East Side to the Upper West Side. Then we walked all the way south through Riverside Park. And then we hopped onto the Hudson River Greenway until from 72nd Street to what, 37th? Where we popped into the High Line, walked down the High Line, and made our way right over here to Little Island. So let's check the watch for our stats. All right. The official stats at the moment, 9 miles and 18,000 steps, which is right on track. We do about 2,000 steps a mile. So 9 miles and 18,000 steps. By the time I walk to the subway and back, we will hit our 10-mile mark. So a pretty healthy walk today, my friends. So my friends, this has been a fun one. From the Upper East Side to the Upper West, to the Meatpacking District, Chelsea, and the Far West Village, right here at the Hudson River, overlooking the Statue of Liberty. This has been a real fun one, so thanks everybody for hanging on out. If anybody's made it just about 3 hours with us, God bless you. We had a lot of birthdays today, so happy birthday to everybody celebrating. Big thanks to everybody who joined, our mods, chats, super chats, and everybody else. Thanks for being with us. Take care, everybody. We'll see you again real soon. Bye.